Now, one of the features that I like about Subaru's largest SUV is the fact that these back doors here open like almost 90 degrees wide. So that means that getting in and out of the Evoltis would be a cinch even if you're an elderly person or if you are a small kid. Now, another thing that I notice here is that the step up into the Evoltis is also one of the lowest step ups that you can do in a mid-size SUV. That is also another good thing when it comes to accessibility. Now, getting into these captain seats found here in the second row, these seats would make you think twice about driving the Evoltis. Because, well, guys, Subarus are meant to be driven because they're really performance-oriented. But these seats are some of the best seats, if not the best seats, in the house. So it would make you think if you would rather drive your Evoltis or hire a family driver to ferry you around town while you relax in these superb captain seats here. The thing is, as I mentioned, the Evoltis is really meant to be driven, guys. So it would be such a shame if you just let Manong driver be the one to have all the fun right there behind the wheel. So if you're the one driving this, your kids would love you because these seats are really phenomenal. Now, guys, having said that, of course, these seats are wrapped in leather, and we do get a heating function here, but we don't get ventilation. So that's a little bit of a bummer, but at least it still gets a heating function. Now, I'm an average size Asian. As you can see, I'm 5'6". This is my driving position, and as you can see, I got a good amount of knee room here. A whopping 7 inches of knee room, and I also have another 7 inches of headroom, despite having a panoramic sunroof here. So that shows you just how big the Subaru Evoltis is. This is really much bigger than the Subaru Outback, and that translates to more space found here inside. Now for toys, this is a premium SUV, guys, and as such, we've got a good amount of toys here. We've got some privacy shades in case you want to take a nap, right? There's one. And you also have your own climate control system here. This is a triple zone climate control system, so you can control your air conditioning here. The vents are mounted on the ceiling along with the lights, and we also have multiple charge ports here. We have a 120 volt socket here. Well, this is a North American model, so that's why it's a 120 volt, not a 220 volt that we normally have here in the Philippines. But at least you have that. So multi-voltage gadgets like laptops could easily be powered by this socket. We also have a couple of USB ports here and a couple of cup holders hidden here behind the center armrest of the front passenger. We also have a couple of cup holders here on the door cards. So yeah, that's already 4 plus the 2 in front, 5, 6. Yeah, so that's counting a total of 19 cup holders, guys. It's really pretty crazy. Now, there are actually 2 ways that you can get into the third row seats of the Subaru Evoltis. The first way is you go through the middle here, the middle part, or the second way, which is the usual traditional way of getting in the third row seat, which is just hit the button here on the side of the seat back of the second row, and it just slides forward. Now, another thoughtful touch that Subaru did for the Evoltis is they included this. These are grab handles on the seats, making it easy to get into the third row seats, which we will do just about now. Subaru calls the Evoltis a true 7-seater SUV, and you could really see it here. It's got a nice long wheelbase, which means that the space here at the third row is actually pretty decent. Well, I'm just a regular Asian, guys. I'm 5'6". I have a good amount of space here. It's quite comfortable, in fact. I got around 2 inches of knee room before my knee touches the seat back of the second row captain's chair, and I got around 2 inches of headroom as well. If you're taller than me, like if you're 5'10" or what, you might be better off staying in the front row or in the second row because the third row would be a little bit cramped for you. Now, Subaru also says that the Evoltis has a third row that can seat 3 people. Now, that has to be taken with a grain of salt. You see, if you put 3 average-sized Asians here, it's going to work, but that might start a war. If you put 3 kids here in the third row, then that is more doable. It's doable for 3 people in a pinch, but try to keep it at 2 passengers maximum here in the third row. Now, the toys here at the back is also pretty decent. As I mentioned, we've got 13 Harman Kardon speakers here. So we also have a couple of speakers found here on the third row. And we have a couple of cup holders to my left and a couple of cup holders there to the right. We also have USB charging ports also found on the right side of the vehicle. And we also have ceiling-mounted AC vents here. Now, the good thing though is the Evoltis has some nice enlarged windows here, even on the third row, which gives it a better feeling here. It's not going to feel claustrophobic. It's going to feel quite nice and spacious and airy here on the third row. Plus, you include the fact that we only have captain seats here, so you have a nice visibility right there in the center. And the lighting that comes from your panoramic sunroof means that a trip here in the third row of the Evoltis would be quite pleasant, as long as you're 5'6" or below. Alright guys, so we're now driving the Subaru Evoltis Touring, and I could immediately tell that this is a vehicle for the North American market. Now, how could I say that? Because it feels like I'm driving a large SUV. Now, the Evoltis is a mid-size SUV, but it feels like I'm driving something bigger. I got my hood imposing on my view up front. Now, I'm not saying that the visibility is bad, because I've got a huge ass windshield right here in front of me. Visibility is actually pretty good. I got large windows here on my side, so that's not gonna be an issue. But it just feels so hefty. It feels so imposing, this whole vehicle. I mean, this wouldn't get lost in the freeways of California. And driving it here in Manila streets, man, yeah. This thing, it's got presence, dude. It's got presence. Now, another thing that tells me that this is really the Subaru Ascent for North America is the ride comfort. I mean, I'm right here in the driver's seat, and I could tell you that, man, this thing is super comfortable. If you're just using this for daily driving duties and you're just running errands or going to work, going home and stuff, this Evoltis would acquit itself perfectly well. I feel like I'm really in a premium, even a luxury mid-size SUV. That's how I feel here. And that is all good, guys. I mean, the fact that I've got really supple leather seats, and I got a good amount of lumbar support as well, and those ventilated seat features, man, in a tropical country like the Philippines, you would really appreciate these things. Now, the Evoltis doesn't really have that SI drive, and not that it needs it, because we've got 256 horses on tap, guys. And man, this thing can go. Plus, pull in that all-wheel drive system, and you have a raging beast in this family SUV. Let me show you. Holy yeah! Oh wow! Despite being a comfort-oriented SUV, it could take corners like a maniac. And that's credit to that symmetrical all-wheel drive system. It's crazy. I love this. Ooh. I've tested other premium mid-size SUVs out there, but this Evoltis, man, you gotta drive it to believe it. I mean, I love that Subaru is one of those last standing car makers out there that would still give you a really engaging drive, even in an SUV that's more suited like a momobile. Man, this thing is awesome. The amount of torque that it gives you at the low end, plus that all-wheel drive system. This, my friends, is a real car. Disguised as a mid-size SUV. Whoa! Awesome. And you know what's really great about it? That eyesight safety technology. Because sometimes, you know, you could get so carried away with having so much fun with this Evoltis that, you know, things might get a little bit hairy. And the good thing there is that eyesight safety system will always keep you in check. It will always keep you, you know, away from accidents because it's got that preventive safety system. And that is fantastic when it comes to Subaru, guys. Now, enough of me talking about the Evoltis performance. This is still a family vehicle, and it's high time that I also give you an impression of what it feels like to ride in the best seats in the house, which is the second row seats. The thing is, yeah, for the Subaru Evoltis, I think I would have to contend that because while those are captain seats, the best seat is still the driver's seat, man. This is still a fire-breathing Subaru. But I'm gonna give you that passenger impression right now. Alright guys, so I'm now here at the second row captain seats of the Subaru Evoltis, and that's mainly because of my good friend and our sales associate in Subaru Green Hills, Sir Lester, who is now behind the wheel. Thank you for that, Sir Lester.
Thanks, sir.
There you go. Yeah, so he's minding the road. I'm right here at the back, and I'm gonna give you a passenger impression right now. And right off the bat, I could tell you that, man, this is a very comfortable place. Now, while this is quite comfortable and spacious, and I have my privacy shades up right there, I could immediately tell you that riding here in the captain seats feels like I'm the boss, right? Sorry, Sir Lester, that doesn't mean that you're my family driver. But yeah, riding here makes me feel like I'm the boss, like I'm the man of my own world. You see, and in terms of the ride comfort though, since the Evoltis has a suspension that is tuned a bit more towards the sporty side, it doesn't feel too coddling here. It doesn't feel like I'm riding like a Rolls Royce or a Bentley here at the back of the Subaru Evoltis. Now, it doesn't mean though that it's like it rides like a 7-seater pickup base SUV. You know, it's not. It's more refined than that. But I do feel the road under me. So some people might think that that's a bad thing. They want to be totally cocooned from the outside world. But remember guys, this is still a Subaru. And Subarus are really more geared towards performance rather than comfort. So we do have the space, we do have the amenities, the luxury materials here, but it doesn't let you forget that you are inside the Subaru. Now the NVH, on the other hand, despite having a huge panoramic sunroof, is really good. I don't hear much outside, and we're just driving here on a very busy road. In fact, the busiest road here in the Philippines, which is EDSA, and I'm not hearing any road noise. Not hearing any of those horns honking outside, none of that hulabaloo. That's a good thing about this. Although the ride is a bit on the sporty side, it will still cocoon you when it comes to the auditory aspect of riding inside the Subaru Evoltis, at least here in the passenger seats. Overall, guys, you know, as a reviewer of this Evoltis, I have to say that I am a bit conflicted. You see, riding here at the passenger seat is comfortable, I give it that. And there would be probably days that I'd love to ride here and just relax. But the Evoltis is such an engaging drive that I wouldn't want to ride here in the second row on a regular basis. I'd still want to drive this Evoltis most of the time, if not all of the time, because man, for a mid-size 7-seater SUV, this thing performs like it's a WRX STI hiding under a 7-seater SUV clothing. It's really that good, guys. It's that good. You gotta try it out for yourself. The Subaru Evoltis is a good combination of space, features, and safety in a premium SUV offering. If you compare it against a European marquee, it offers a tremendous value. However, the Evoltis will still have to face some stiff competition from other Japanese and even Korean car makers. in the end, it's just a matter of personal choice. And if you're one of the people who's been waiting for a true 7-seater SUV from Subaru, well, it seems that your prayers have been answered. Thanks for watching.